Hello, my name's Lisa Chambers. I am the Community Facilities Development Officer at Cambridgeshire Acre, and these are my 5 top tips in managing community facilities. Okay, so my top tip number 1 for local councils is understand your governing structure for your community facility. There's 2 possibilities that it could be that you run the facility as part of your statutory duties, but the other alternative is that the parish council might actually be sole trustees of a charity. And the 2 ways in which you need to run these facilities is quite different. You need to make sure that you understand charity law if you're running it as a sole trustee. And one of the very common issues we have with sole trustees is the fact that councillors find it quite hard to remove themselves from their role as councillor, but then to see themselves as charity trustees for a charity which is in the parish council's name. So I would ask you to seek further guidance if at all you're worried about how you would manage a community facility as a charity. Or indeed, if you wanted further guidance as running it as part of your statutory duties. There are differences in that management, and I would urge all councillors to make sure that you understand what the governance structure is and what your responsibilities are long term. My second top tip is to consult with your wider community on a regular basis. Make sure as a parish council that you understand how your community wishes to use this community facility. Are you providing the right events and activities and classes? Is there an aspiration for your community to see a much improved building? Is there need for an extension, for example, to provide additional classes or additional needs? By being in tune with your community and understanding their aspirations and wishes will benefit not only your community, but also the long-term viability of your building that you're providing. My third top tip is to develop a 5-year maintenance plan. It's much better to be in a position where you can look ahead and understand what's coming down the line than to wait for the boiler to break down or for there to be a leak in the roof. Funding is going to become even more difficult for us all to access as we move forward. Many of the funds are being reverted to COVID recovery, quite rightly at this moment in time. But it does mean that other funds are going to be more difficult for us to come by in order to deliver just the general things that we were looking at seeing as normal previously. So develop that plan. It doesn't need to be a massive 40-page document. It could just be an Excel spreadsheet. But making sure that your entire council is aware of the expenses coming along and the things that you want to do to improve your facility over the next few years. It's really important to understand this and see this in a planned way of when you plan to repair the boiler or replace the boiler, when you plan to build an extension maybe, or buy new chairs for the facility. They're all really important things, and you do need to have a planned approach to make sure that they are going to happen on time. Top tip number 4, keep your policies under review. It's really important to set up some system where you can review all of your policies either on an annual or a biannual basis, making sure that all of the requirements for health and safety, safeguarding and employment issues are all in place, and that the councillors understand these policies and have agreed to the contents of them. Top tip number 5, hiring fees should reflect the running costs of your building. So again, a bit like the policies, it's about keeping your hiring fees under review. making sure that you're comparing all of your overheads and your costs in running the facility to reflect within your hiring charges. Reviewing your hiring charges can often lead to difficult conversations and difficult decisions for counsellors. Trying to keep that balance between what is a fair price to the community for an hourly rate, but also making sure that the costs are being covered, the staffing costs, the utility bills, and the general running of the facility, in order to make sure that it's not about running at a profit, but making sure that the facility is cost effective and not being a drain on council resources. So to have a process in place where you're annually looking at, are you charging the right figure? Does this truly reflect the place that we should be at the moment, is really important. And I would urge parish councils to really take a look at this and make sure that it is a true reflection of the place that you need to be. I hope you have found these top tips useful. And as part of the community building service, ACRE do offer a library of information sheets, and there is a wealth of information available to charities and parish councils on the running of facilities in the community. So if you do have any questions or concerns or want to explore any of these areas in more detail, please get in touch. My details will be on the next screen, and hopefully I will be able to answer your questions in the panel session.